Welcome to Made in Moray, the podcast that focuses on the successes and struggles of local businesses. Let's get started.
My name's G, I'm your host, and today I'm sitting down with KAYLEIGh McDINE, who is the owner of Mini First Aid for the Highlands, Islands and Moray Shire. Did I get it right?
You did.
Tell us a little bit about what you and this organisation do.
Mini First Aid is a franchise. It was set up by a lady called Kate Ball. She lives in Leeds. She's a mum of 6, 2 of which are twins. She's a very busy lady. And she just started off doing it in her kitchen from home. And the great thing about Mini First Aid is that parents can bring their babies. So she started franchising it out, and we now have 70 franchises across the UK, and we have been running in the Highlands and Moray for 7 weeks now. So yeah, it's very exciting.
So how did you get involved in the organisation?
So a little bit about my background. I'm actually a baby and preschool swimming teacher. I work for a private swim school called Turtle Tots in Inverness, and I was looking for something to go alongside my swimming. I'm actually a lifeguard as well, so I've always enjoyed the first aid life savings part of my training, and I've done many first aid classes, but there just wasn't much out there for families, especially a first aid class that was accessible for parents to come and bring their children. From my own experience, I didn't do any life-saving training until my daughter was 2. So I've got 2 daughters now, and I did book onto a first aid class when I had my first daughter, but it was 6 hours and you couldn't bring your baby. And I know myself as like a new mum, like you don't want to go out for that length of time and leave your baby. So I was looking, I thought about doing it myself, and then that's when I came across Mini First Aid, and I just thought that would do really well, up in the Highlands and Moray.
So it's something that you realised that maybe as a mother you need it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
And if you need it, probably other mothers need it as well.
Yeah, I think it's a lovely skill to teach, and there was a lot of things that I learned doing my training, and I've been a mum for nearly 5 years, and I had a lot of mum guilt. I was like, oh my god, I didn't know that. So yeah, it's just giving people the basics. When you bring that newborn baby home for the first time, it is quite scary, and they don't come with a manual. So yeah, they don't. Absolutely.
And it's frightening for parents as well when it's the first child, and maybe you don't have a lot of experience. Not everybody works with children. Not everybody has experience of childcare.
Absolutely. Myself, I don't have any siblings. I don't have any cousins. First time I became a mum, I was 20, and you're now responsible for this little person. So it is a big responsibility.
Well, it's a life-saving opportunity to get involved in first aid. And although certain people at certain points of their life might have some small course through their work or through school, it's different when it's your own children.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of my customers, they've maybe done a first aid at work course many years ago, and the thing about first aid, it changes all the time. So even as trainers, we have to constantly refresh our knowledge because evidence is more up to date and things do change.
Yeah. So do you have 2 jobs that you work at then? Because you've got the swimming on one side and the first aid on the other?
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So I swim on a Saturday morning. I teach 40 babies, toddlers and preschoolers how to swim every week. I call it my fun job. And I also think it's a really important safety skill because children need to learn, yes, water can be fun, but it can also be very dangerous. And I've got little babies that are learning to hold on to the side of the wall. They're learning how to float on their backs. It's just amazing. It's lovely bonding for the parents as well. They get a lot out of it too. So that's predominantly on a Saturday, and then I do my mini first aid class around my family, my 2 girls. My husband's in the military as well, so it can be full on.
Wow. And if we take a step back, how did you get involved in the swimming?
In the swimming. So I took my daughter along to Turtle Tots from 4 weeks old. And out of all the things we did together, it was my most favourite thing. We looked forward to it. And as a mum, seeing her progression as we moved up through the baby levels, like I was telling people, my baby's swimming through a hoop. They just like looking at me funny, like, really? But I'm like, yeah, honestly, you know, it was just lovely. And I thought, you know what, this is a really, really good career. I'd love to get into it. So I asked them about it, and then I did a course, and that was it, pretty much.
So tell us a little bit about the recent growth of the business, because I imagine there's been quite a steep learning curve there.
Yeah, so I launched a mini first aid Highlands and Islands and Moray shirt in January in Inverness, and I had 12 customers, and I've now trained over 300 people in 7 weeks throughout a range of different classes. So we teach our 2-hour class, which is for parents, grandparents and carers. It's a 2-hour non-assessed class where they can come on and we do CPR, choking, breaks, bleeds, burns, febrile seizures and meningitis awareness. But we also teach children from as young as 3 years old in basic and emergency first aid, right through to older children and teenagers as well. So yeah, so I've had a lot of growth over the past wee while.
That's amazing. And I like to imagine how the world would be if certain things didn't exist. And there would be 300 people who didn't know what to do in that kind of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I find the children really rewarding to teach, because at that age they're like sponges, and it's amazing what they pick up. And you know, they say, that's the lady that taught me how to call 999. It's just amazing.
That's very cool. How does it work with the areas and the regions? Because Murray Shire and the Highlands and Islands, that's huge.
It's massive. It is so big. I've actually got the biggest territory out of all the franchises. When you look at on the map, like I go from Keith to Skye, and then from Glencoe to Thurso. It's absolutely huge.
How does that feel, being a new business that's starting up and suddenly having to cover such a big territory?
So because I'm self-employed, like it's up to me the areas that I want to go to, and I love a road trip. So I've really enjoyed exploring the areas. It's nice because the classes are short. I can make it into a day trip. Sometimes I do need an overnight stay. Like I went up to the Isle of Skye, which was just absolutely beautiful. But no, I'm quite happy to travel, you know, and I think these rural communities are important to me, because waiting for an ambulance up in these northern areas, you know, you'd be waiting for a long time. So
yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people who live in bigger urban areas or cities forget, that you can be an hour more away from help.
Yeah.
And you do have to take care of things yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when there's an emergency, you can't just have something straight away. And not only that, I know that in a place like Murray, there are also stresses on resources as well. And it's hard.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that people that come on to our classes just feel a little bit more empowered, that if they did have a situation that they would know what to do. You know, your training would kick in.
Yeah.
Or like you'd have more awareness of the help that's there as well.
Or you'd even be able to prevent a problem. Yes,
that's very true. So we talk a lot about prevention, and I'm actually launching a new class.
Wow.
Did some training yesterday. I was down in Edinburgh with Mini First Aid head office. So we're launching a baby proofing class.
Okay.
And that's all about home safety, but also when you're out and about in the garden as well. And that's all about preventing accidents to happen. So we are partners with the Global Alliance for Child Safety.
Right.
So yes, that's a new class. So very exciting.
Tell me a little bit more about baby proofing, because I checked out your Facebook page. I saw there was some information about that, and I thought, I don't really know what that
is.
means. Yeah. Tell me more.
So it is very new. I'm going to be releasing a launch date soon. So people come on and they learn pretty much how to baby-proof their home. So this is for very young children, because as a mum myself, it's quite daunting, and you do have to put measures in place to prevent accidents from happening. We talk about first aid, but that's after the accidents happen, but can we try and prevent that in the first place? So we talk about things like drowning, burns, socket covers. There's quite a big
there's so much. I mean, just off the top of my head, I can think about the stair gate that you need on the stairs, the little covers for the edge of the table if it's sharp,
all that sort of thing. So they can come on and learn what things are on the market that maybe don't meet the safety standards. You get a lot of products on Amazon, but they do not meet the safety standards. So they can come on and learn what products are available that do meet them safety standards.
Or those little pieces of Lego that the baby wants to pick up and put in their mouth or something like that. You have to be so careful.
You just have to be on the ball. Pretty much.
All the time.
But we're all human as well, and accidents do happen, and a lot of parents they just get caught out.
And also sometimes when we try to jump in to stop something, we can make it worse as well. That also happens. You see the child and you think the child's going to fall off the bed or something,
and then you run to help, and
then you accidentally bump or knock the kid or whatever, and you're like, oh no, I made it worse.
And they like to keep us on our toes, and accidents do happen. Totally get that.
So how do you organize your time in terms of the work that you do?
So my husband works full time. So when he's at work, I'm there for my girls. I'm very lucky that I've got a great support network. I've got my parents, they live in Inverness. So literally when I have childcare, I plan my classes. So that works really well. And I just kind of look at the locations I want to go, and I just take it from there. I do private classes as well, so I visit people at their home, which are quite nice if you've got a group of friends or an antenatal group. And I go into nurseries and schools and childminders for our children's classes as well. So,
It's such an essential skill to have. I can't reinforce that enough for people. How do you sell the courses that you run?
That I run. It's quite an easy sell. It's just as soon as I tell them what it is I'm doing, people are really interested. The costs are low. So, for example, our 2-hour baby and child first aid classes, it's £20. So that's like the cost of a takeaway. So, it's not a huge amount of money. And it's 2 hours. It doesn't take up all your day. So it's quite an easy sell.
Well, it's a good comparison that you make with the prices. Because you could spend easily £20 on a bottle of whiskey. You could spend £100 on a haircut, right?
But £20 to save a life, it's priceless, really.
Yeah, it's something that everybody should be involved in. Is there anything like gift vouchers or courses that people can buy for other people?
I do gift vouchers as well, or people can book private classes. Maybe someone's having a baby shower. I've had that as well.
What about if people don't have kids yet but are planning to have kids?
So that's really good. So, it's for adults. So anyone that's got a connection to children. I've had quite a few foster parents come on my courses. They're going through their application process. They just want to prepare themselves. Absolutely. It's for everybody.
Fantastic. What's the most enjoyable part of the work for you?
It's lovely when you get feedback. When people leave reviews, that can make my day. Or when, like, the other day I had a round of applause at the end. I thought, that's so lovely. And it's lovely when you get emails saying, look, this happened, thank you so much. So that's really, really rewarding.
And on the other side, what are the hardest parts?
No, the hardest part's setting up all my equipment.
Okay, yeah, that's something I wanted to ask about.
Yeah.
What kind of equipment do you need to do this?
So I have got a van-based car. I recently got it done, so it's got my logo and everything on it.
Nice.
And I'm so lucky. I've got such huge boot space, so I've got all my mannequins, my mats, my stock, because I sell first aid kits and family first aid products. And like our kids' classes, so I've got this big huge teddy bear that comes with me everywhere. So yeah, my car is no longer my car anymore.
Oh, wow. So what's in one of those little first aid kits?
Sure.
Because the reason why I'm asking is because we might need to get one ourselves, right? So what's in the kit?
So we talk at our classes about the contents of a first aid kit, how they would be used, but also what if you didn't have your first aid kit, thinking on the go as well.
Yep.
So what we do as our classes is I get them to list what they would include in their baby or child's first aid kit, because this isn't like your first aid kit at work. There's no rules what you can keep in there. So whatever you want to keep in there.
Right.
But the most common ones are sort of plasters, dressings, burns gel, scissors, tough cuts, especially because they not only do they cut through clothes and leather, they cut through seat belts as well. So a lot of people don't realise that.
Wow.
Lots of useful things.
That's nice. Where do most accidents happen with children?
At home.
Okay.
At home, typically, especially toddlers when they're on the move, hot drinks as well. So we talk about prevention of hot drinks, keeping hot drinks out of reach. Even after 30 minutes, a cup of tea can leave quite a nasty burn. And 30 children go to A&E every single day with a hot drinks burn. So a lot of these accidents are happening in and around the home.
What are things that people generally don't think about that might create a problem? Are there any other kinds of dangers that parents need to be aware of?
Absolutely. So a lot of parents that come on to our class, we talk about febrile seizures. A lot of parents have never heard of this. They don't know what it is. Meningitis as well. We talk about meningitis awareness, and a lot of parents don't realise a lot of the signs and symptoms are similar to just more milder illnesses, and it's something that's so serious as well. So there's these other things that they need to be aware of.
I think it must also be important to stay calm and relaxed in a crisis and not panic.
Yes, absolutely. So hopefully coming on to a class like Mini First Aid will give them the basics and the knowledge that, you know, if they did come across any of these things, they get a little workbook that's got everything we've covered in the class. So if they ever had to jog their memory, I always say keep it in your changing bag, keep it in your handbag. So if you ever came over a situation and your mind did go blank, you've got it there. But, you know, I always make sure that they know all the different emergency contact numbers that they would possibly need as well.
Is there anything special that a family might have to think about if they're going to travel a long distance or go away on holiday?
Yeah, so just putting precautions in place, definitely carrying your first aid kit.
Yep.
And if I take my children, you know, somewhere new, for example, on holiday, recce the place out. Make sure if there's like a lake, you spot that and you think, I'm going to have to supervise my children. And, you know, in the hotel room, just getting down on their level, having a look around, all things that parents probably do anyway, just making sure it's nice and safe.
But also parents need to be conscious of it as well, because if you're going away on holiday, you're in a new environment and you're thinking about so many other things that you need to just take a moment to check that everything's okay.
And knowing the emergency contact number as well, because a lot of people don't think about that until they need it.
Absolutely. How do you see the business growing? Is there a plan to develop it?
Yeah, so I'd love to get into schools more. So in England, it's actually curriculum, not in Scotland. So I'd love to see that be introduced. My plan going forward, I am taking on an additional trainer. So she was a paediatric nurse and she was a trainer for the NHS. So she's going to come on and join my team, and she's going to run qualification courses for those that need a paediatric qualification as well.
Fantastic. Do you think there are any limits to how the business can grow or develop?
Obviously, I have to stay within my area, which I'm quite happy about as well. No, I'm hoping, as word of mouth grows and people say, oh, do you know what? I did a mini first aid class. Guess what? You can bring your baby with you. So I'm hoping it's just going to keep growing. I don't think I'll be able to flood the market because people are always having babies and, you've got your children's classes as well. So, yeah.
It's important. Why do you think it's part of the English curriculum but not part of the Scottish curriculum?
I'm not sure why it's not curriculum up here. It's only been introduced this year in England that they've to include first aid in schools.
You would think it's a priority, really, to a certain extent.
I am biased, but yes.
I'm not saying that just because it's you. I'm saying that for everybody.
100%. Yeah, if it was my children, I'd, want them to know peace of mind for yourself if they're out playing. If they had a situation, they'd know what to do or how to get help.
Yeah, and not just for the teachers, for the kids as well, because the teacher can't see what all the children are doing all of the time.
Yeah,
really.
And, you hear stories, parents, falling ill at home and children ringing 999. These are just great skills to teach.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's a lot of little heroes out there who have saved the day. What's your vision personally for what you'd like to achieve with the business?
So my mission is just to train as many parents, grandparents and carers across the north of Scotland in first aid, because I feel like it's just something that's so important when it comes to babies and children. So that's my mission that I'm on.
Yeah. When you go into work in local communities, do you find people are already quite knowledgeable, or is there a great variation in different skill levels there?
There's a big variation. So I get some people that have gone through their whole life, they've never done a first aid course, and then they come on one of our courses and they think, oh my God, how did I get through the past, so many years? And then I get, I've had midwives on my classes, I've had professionals, it's just a good refresher as well.
Yeah, because people forget things over time.
Yeah, of course they do. And if you're not doing these things every day, then, it's just good to refresh.
Oh, absolutely. How do you keep yourself focused and motivated to do the work that you do? Because you must need a lot of energy to do it.
Yeah, you do need a lot of energy. I think my children keep me motivated. The reason I wanted to do something like mini first aid was so that I could be there for my children and just work around them. And it's something that I love. So, I'll switch off for the night and I'll come back in the morning and I look forward to it as well.
Is it easy or difficult to relax when you've got a business and a family and kids?
Yeah, it's full on. It doesn't stop. I think people expect instant replies nowadays. So, I'll get a message through and I'll panic. Oh, I need to answer them pretty quickly. It can be full on. You're never really switched off. So
how do you relax in that kind of environment?
A typical day, like I'll check my inquiries when I get up in the morning. Anything that's urgent, I'll deal with that. Anything that can wait, it'll wait until the evening, or my next chance that I can have a look at it. Every day is different for me, and I've just been just making it work around my family. And, there are days that I think, right, got the girls today, I'm just going to switch my phone off and I'm not going to look at that till the evening. And then all my focus is on my girls. So, yeah. That's
nice. Is your family supportive of the work that you do?
Yeah, 100%. I'm so lucky. My husband's very supportive. So when he's at work, I'm with the children, and when he's home, he's with the girls. And then when he deploys, I've got my parents there to look after the girls. So that's lovely that they're going to spend the day with them.
That's really nice. How do your girls integrate into what you do? Do they come along to the courses? Do they see what you're doing? Because children often copy parents.
Yeah,
right?
They do. So. Yeah, that's a really good question. So sometimes they come with me to locations. They help me set up, and then my husband takes them away. And then they come back and help me pack up. My eldest daughter, Holly, so she'll be 5 this year, and she's just so into it. She's so like, she loves things like ambulances and helping people, and like when she goes to nursery, like they often say Holly bumped her head, she demanded an ice pack. So that's quite funny. It's lovely that she's picking these things up as well.
That's really nice. I don't know if you're aware of programs like Doc McStuffins or something like that kids watch.
I've not heard of that one. Have you heard of Operation Ouch?
I haven't heard of that one. But,
it's probably something similar.
Okay, so there are some films and programs and series and cartoons where kids can pick up some useful practical information. So is there something you could recommend?
My all-time favourite is Dr. Ranch. Have you seen him off This Morning? So he's got his own TV programme on CBeebies, and it's called Be Happy, Be Healthy, Get Well Soon. So that's lovely. So that's for very young children. He's recently just launched a new programme on the STV, and it's On Call with Dr. Ranch. So yeah.
Is it Dr. Ranch or?
I think it's Dr. Ranch.
Okay. Okay, because I don't watch TV, so I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, he's lovely.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's nice when the cartoons and programs are motivational and educational, and it's not just two people hitting each other with something. My eldest daughter Holly, she's obsessed with Dr. Ranch. Like he was on Strictly one year and she's like, oh, it's Dr. Ranch. It's nice.
It's a really good one.
Super. I will endeavour to discover that for the benefit of my children. Excellent. Is there any literature that you've read or you've found which might be good for parents or kids to help them with information?
Sure. So just getting your hands on something that's evidence-based, like a good first aid manual. You can buy pediatric ones. You want to make sure whatever you're reading is evidence-based. Don't do Dr. Google or things like Mumsnet or Facebook, because anybody can write things on there. So it needs to be something evidence-based, like a good first aid manual.
And where would you pick up one of those?
So we sell them at our classes or off the internet. The St. John's, the Red Cross and St. Andrews, they've got that's the three big ones. They all come together to write an up-to-date manual.
Fantastic. Is there something that the community could do more to support the kind of work that you're doing?
So I'm so lucky. The venues that I've got, they're very good for spreading the word or sharing it on their social media platforms, and that makes a huge difference to the awareness that's out there. We are very lucky in Moray that people like to help each other.
They do.
They really do. I've got some great relationships with my venues. A personal favourite is the Byers Farm in Fochabers. So
that's the one that's between Fochabers and Speybe.
Yes, it's in Speybe. Yeah, so it's run by a lovely lady called Helen. So we team up. So she's got this old barn that she's converted, and she runs preschool sessions. So that and first aid just goes together so nicely.
Fantastic.
So we do some children's classes there, and then they can go and feed the farm animals and have a little play. So
I like their little advertisement logo with the Wellington boots.
The welly boots, they're very sweet, aren't they?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's lovely when you find great venues like that that are quite unique. And
that's part of what I think exists in Moray that maybe doesn't exist in other places as well. The community spirit.
Community spirit. No, it's very good. I live in Moray, and I love Moray. I just think it's such a lovely way of life. It's very quiet. People want to help each other. Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody should come. But then if everybody comes, it might not be the same. But,
it is unique. It's lovely.
It is. It is. It's going to be hard to leave if I ever decide that I want to do that. Right. Can't leave here. Lovely view of the beach out there.
I know, it's a lovely sunny day. It's lovely.
It's nice. It's nice when the sun pokes its head through the clouds. It really is. They just need to fix the bridge so that people can
go to the beach.
Go to the beach.
What a shame.
Yeah. You can wade through the water if you want. It's a bit cold. But,
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Is there any advice that you could give to people who are interested in taking the same path or a similar track to what you've done?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's great first aid opportunities out there. You just need to look. So there's lots of volunteer opportunities if you want to get hands-on practice.
Yep.
You've got the big three that you can volunteer with, and you just go and book yourself onto a first aid course.
It's that simple.
That's simple. Anybody can do first aid.
Would that just be a Google search for first aid course? And
yeah, so obviously we run first aid classes, but yeah.
Nice. No reason not to do it, basically.
No, there's anybody can do first aid.
On a personal level, in terms of influence and recommendations, what book should everybody read?
So I'm reading a book at the minute. It's called Happy Baby Swim, and it's all about creating stronger relationships through parents and children through the gift of swimming. And yeah, it's a lovely little book. Wow.
So can you tell us a bit more about the book? I mean, what is the connection there?
So it's all about understanding children's behaviour, and not just in the water, but just in general, and how they learn, and taking that into the water and the experience in the water. Yeah.
As we in Moray live near the coast, is there a difference between learning to swim, say, in a pool and swimming in the sea? Or is that like a bad idea to try and do that? Maybe, I don't know.
So I'm not like a beach lifeguard or anything like that. So I'm just very much pool based.
Yeah. It's safer. Everybody knows what to expect.
But we do live in and around a lot of water, and I think safety and education is what is needed.
Absolutely.
Children, they need to learn that the water is enjoyable, but it's also really dangerous.
It is. You can't sort of be too careful when you're out in nature sometimes. It's wild. I remember being told when I was growing up absolutely to never swim in the Spey, the river that runs through Moray, because it's fast flowing.
Yes.
And it's dangerous, and you just don't know what to expect with the currents, and you can't see what's under the water there.
No. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah.
So people have to be very careful.
Very careful.
That being said, I was jogging across the Spey Viaduct about 6 months ago. And be a bit more than 6 months ago, the end of last summer. And I looked down, and there were kids swimming in the water there. And I wasn't sure what to think about that. So I hopped down off the bridge and went to speak to them and ask them, is it okay? Is it safe? Is it okay in there? And they said, yes, it's perfectly safe. And so I thought, okay, I'm just a bit hot after my jog. I'll sort of cool down and have a little dip in the water. Went into the water, whoosh, it almost swept me away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I was like, I get why people say this is dangerous now. Because there's me swimming full stroke, staying in the same place.
Yeah.
Right. So people do have to be careful about those elements.
So careful.
Yeah. And I would suggest start in the pool.
Yes. And learn how to swim, know how to float, know how to get help. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any online channels or portals, maybe somewhere on YouTube, where people can get useful information about swimming?
Yeah, absolutely. So the swim school I work for, Turtle Tots, they've got their own website. They write a blog. So if you're interested in finding out about preschool swimming, that's the best place to look. For other types of swimming, so you've got the Royal Life Saving Society. They do lots of water safety campaigns. We've got Drowning Prevention Week, things like that. So there'll be a lot of resources on there. And the STA as well, so it's the Swimming Teaching Association. They've got their own website where you can learn how to swim, and lots of different resources on there too.
Super, fantastic. Here's a crazy question for you. Time travel is possible. Where would you go and why?
I'd love to go back in the olden days and see how they did first aid. I've had a few stories, grandparents come on my course and they'll say, well, in my day, we did it this way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd love to go back in time. And
I just imagine that would be brutal.
It would, wouldn't it?
Some of the things that people did in the past where they used leeches. They didn't have proper painkillers. So I've seen the films where it's just drink half this bottle of whiskey and we'll saw your leg off or whatever.
Oh my goodness, could you imagine?
I don't think that a lot of people realize how lucky we are in the world that we live in to have access to a lot of great things. The medicine is close at hand. You're never that far away from a chemist, for example, where you can pop and get whatever it is that you need.
Yeah, and our NHS, it's just amazing, isn't it? You know, all these great resources. We're so lucky. Yeah,
and all the different focuses like on prevention of injuries and rehabilitation as well. Fantastic. Is there a legacy that you would like to leave behind doing this kind of work?
Yeah, absolutely. That's just to be the lady the first aid lady or the first aid mummy, you know, the lady that went round the north of Scotland teaching everybody baby and child first aid. Like, that's amazing.
And I think in the position that you're in right now with starting this business, there being so many areas to cover, the towns, villages, communities, the islands, there's room for growth there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you know, I'll revisit these places, I'll come back.
That's very nice. I wish I had a business like that. Right. I would like to thank you very much for your time this morning. I think it's absolutely amazing what it is that you're doing.
Thank you.
How can people reach out to you and get in touch with you?
Sure. So we've got our Mini First Aid website. So my website is www.highlands.minifirstaid.co.uk, or we're on Facebook, or just send me an email. It's KAYLEIGH@minifirstaid.co.uk.
And people out there should do that, and they should do it soon. Don't delay, especially if it's been a while and you're not quite sure what to do in certain situations. So once again, thank you, and I hope that we get a chance to sit down and discuss this again at some point in time.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Made in Moray is a product of the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. Book a free online personal or professional development consultation today. What are you waiting for?